Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everyone. We are live again, just like we are every Wednesday. This is a live conversation with the authors of Revealing and Healing, Three Women's Stories of Survival. We're so happy that you are here with us today. I am Delina Hill Brooker. We have Rasha Hoosier over here. Say hey, Rasha.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
Say hey to Anjanita Williams. Say hey, Angel.
Hey, hello, hello, hello.
And
Hey.
we are here again for another week of conversations and topics about what's in our book, Revealing and Healing. If you are watching us live, comment so that we'll know that you're here. Hey, Minister Pam. Hey, Mel. Make a comment so we can know that you're here. Go ahead and share this video live so that your friends and family and whoever's following you, if they're interested in the topic, they can join in on the conversation as well. So, let's see. And still, if you need to get a copy of the book, you can go to either lionessvisions.net. That's Lioness, LIONESS, VIZIONS.net. Rasha is holding it up here. Hold it up, Rasha. Let me make you big here so everybody can see you. And so, and it's also available at Amazon.com in the format of paperback and ebook. So we have been joining you every week for the past few weeks. We have introduced a visual series, which basically gives you little snippets about each of the main characters in our book: brain, reality, and dream. And then we've gone into doing some reading from excerpts and doing some talking about some of the topics that happen in the book. So these are based off of true stories. There's nothing made up. Kind of wish it was, but it wasn't. These are our lives. These are our testimonies. And the whole goal and purpose of writing the book and doing these broadcasts is to not only inform you, empower you, let you know you're not alone, let you see another side of what you may not have known about us or people in general who have gone through some of the things that we have gone through. So we thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us this evening. I see my niece Maya. Hey, Mina. Hey, Peanut. So we are going to get started with this week's broadcast. Last week I read from our third chapter entitled Poor Little Rich Girl, and it's part of Dream Story. And people always the people who know us when we first published the book, they wanted to just read our individual stories. So they were trying to skip around.
Yeah.
You cannot skip around in this book. And I tell you why. It's written like this for a reason, for a purpose. It shows development and growth of all the characters because everybody goes through their stages and it takes you through the stages. So don't skip around. Don't try to figure out who is who. Go ahead and just read it how it's written. And that's the way that you'll get the most effect out of the book. You wouldn't read any other book just skipping from chapter to chapter. So read ours.
Right. Okay? Absolutely.
So Rain's character story, it's not a character, it's her story. It deals a lot with depression and
Well, I could be called a character, but go ahead.
well, I mean, we're all some type of character now. We are all some type of character. I don't know if I like this format. I liked it at first. Let's see. Yeah, that might be a little bit better. Let's see. I'm sorry. I've got to plan. Let me find myself.
That's okay. Delina's a perfectionist, so we need to make it right, y'all.
Bear
with us. Bear with us.
Rush, I don't know why you're showing up blurry again because you were clear when we first started.
I know. And the light is coming from outside because it's light. It's light.
Okay. We're not going to talk about that because it's cold and windy here. We're in a wind advisory and I wasn't happy about it.
The time change to make it not so dark so early at night. But go
Well,
ahead.
at least you guys didn't have. Yeah.
True. It's 73 degrees today. You're right.
Okay. So we're just going to disconnect her from the call.
That's a blessing from God. Don't worry. It'll travel down. It'll travel over to Atlanta, and Indianapolis will be warm pretty soon too.
Amen. Amen. Hey, Natalie, I see you on here. But so Rain's character story, her person, she deals a lot with depression and things of that nature. So the base meat of her storyline is her maintaining her mental health and everything like that. Reality deals with finding self-discovery and self-acceptance and learning about herself and trying to fit in and finding where she fits in and how she fits in. And then my character, my story, I'm a character as well. I hold on to things. I hold on to secrets. I hold on to feelings. I hold on to things that I should and should not hold on to. And all of these things are just the base of them. We deal with a lot of different things. So there's never a dull moment. We have also highlighted a lot of people who have helped us while we were doing our visual series. We had Chandra Southern, who is an author, and she also has a nonprofit that deals with women and children. She's an advocate for exploited children and everything like that. Rasha, you might want to slide over a little bit to your right. You got to stay in the split.
That's good.
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
We also highlighted B&B Fish and Wings. They let us come and film there on a Saturday morning. Who does that? Last week we featured Beanie. He is an independent artist. He's also involved with the youth in the church and the dance ministry. Awesome person. I posted up some more of his music, and I'll post some more up later on this week that some of the stuff that he's been doing. And then of course we have another one that we will be highlighting today. So, but we'll get into that. So like I said, last week I read. This week we are going to turn it over to Rasha to read. But before we do that, what do you guys think about last week? Anything you wanted to touch base on? Rasha, you can go first. Anything you wanted to touch base on about last week?
Again, this Delina story always upsets me. It always makes me angry. I always think about that little girl and how would it be if that happened to me? But I also think about the woman you are today and the woman, even the teenager you are when I met you. You didn't seem broken. You didn't seem depressed. You just seemed like you were living life and you were, vibrant and happy and full of energy. And even now, again, so I can't be angry too long and I can't be completely upset because you're here. You're not in a straitjacket. You're not in a mental institution living there. You're not on drugs somewhere. So it's still a testament and a blessing to how God works and your own perseverance.
Well, I thank you for that. And I will say to that, like, especially when you met me, I was still in the storm and about to enter another storm, but that just shows how we wear a mask so that everybody can't see what we are actually going through. Angel, you want to comment? She might not be able to hear me. Angel? I don't think she can hear me.
There she is.
There you are.
Yeah, there she is.
I heard y'all. For whatever reason, y'all keep freezing on me, so I apologize if I'm delayed. Everybody, I think I have a couple too many people on my Wi-Fi right now, so that may be the issue that's happening. Because grandkids, yes. So from last week, when we talked about your or Dream's situation where she's like holding things in, and we're talking about the molestation and things like that. It still angers me, although I know we did this almost 10 years ago. And well, actually, we started 10 years ago. And it still angers me that someone would do that to a child, to any child, let alone their own child. But I think that just kind of seeing the growth in things that have happened and the things that have occurred and how you've overcome and how you were able to forgive, there's so much power in that. There's so much power in that. So with that, I feel, that just to show that there is another side and you can come out of that and it doesn't have to define who you are. Like that is what my main takeaway from that particular section. That doesn't define me because I was put on this earth to do something. God blessed me with these gifts, and no matter what you try to do to break me or take away from me, I still have my gifts. I still use my gifts and I still do me. So I think that that's kind of like what I got from that last week's reading.
Absolutely. And I think that I know that anytime I tell my story, whether somebody read the book or if I'm actually telling it, people get so angry at my father. Like they live it, but I've already lived it. So it's like they're going through it the whole time because there's no other way to tell it than to tell it. So I can't sugarcoat that. I can't say my father molested me because it wasn't that simple. He was manipulated and calculated with it. But you talked about how I am now, but I will say that it's a testament to therapy. I went through therapy as a child. I went through therapy as a teenager. I've been through therapy as an adult. When stuff starts resurfacing, I go through therapy again because that's the only way I know how to, not the only way, that's a big part of me being able to hold myself together and not fall apart. So especially in the Black community, we shy away from therapy and we think that that's what white people do.
Yes.
That's not true. They are there for a reason.
Yes.
It is a profession for a reason. It's not a sham. I can tell you, and just like I tell other people, therapy works and it has nothing to do with what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you are going through. If you're having a hard time dealing with anything at all, it could be your marriage, it could be drugs, it could be relationships, it could be coping with the death, it could be absolutely anything. Try you out some therapy. Even if you go to 1 to 2 sessions,
Yes.
you will walk away feeling so much better. And it's easier to release, especially to a stranger who doesn't know you, who has no emotional ties to you, who has the ability to see the bigger picture and see exactly where you're coming from and why you're feeling this way and just help pull some of those things out of you. Because after you let it out, it's out. You're not holding it in anymore. So
Right.
I can say thank you to those who counseled
like my mama
me.
used to
And
say,
go ahead.
more room out than it is. There's
Absolutely.
more room out than it is in.
Yes.
There is.
She was
So
saying something about but it still works here.
Right.
yes, it
Right.
does.
We all know. Yep.
And that's another reason why Anjanita started the Right to Heal seminar, the workshops that she does,
Yes.
because just by writing, it was therapeutic. And I've always been a writer, not realizing my writing was helping me through all the stuff that I was going through, but writing helped. So the next writing seminar we have, you guys might want to get on that because it is very therapeutic. And it's not always about healing from a something deep-seated. It can be about expressing your feelings, expressing love. You don't know how to do that outwardly. So this is a way to do it inwardly until you can get it out. So all that about that, we are going to turn it over to Rasha so she can share a little bit more of her story.
Okay, so this particular incident happened after I was molested by my babysitter's son. When that happened between 9 and 12, and I think this happened at about 14. I was a freshman. So I'm going to read, guys. Where am I? I looked around the room. Everything was unfamiliar. I could hear machines beeping, and I saw a blurry face. Mama, what's going on? She told me that I was in the hospital and I had attempted suicide. Rain, why would you drink fingernail polish and take a whole bottle of aspirin? Why would you want to take your life? God wants you to live. I had no answers. During my stay at the hospital, I was asked many questions about why I had attempted suicide. I told the therapist I was sad and angry most of the time. There was a team of doctors and I was assigned to 2 of them. One was a woman, Dr. Stevens, and the other a man, Dr. Finn. Dr. Stevens was the medicine woman. So at this time, you guys, first of all, I didn't learn this till recently. When you have a trauma, any type of trauma, before your brain is totally formed, it messes with your mind most of the time. And I didn't know this. When I say recently, I'm talking the last 3 or 4 years. So as you're growing up and you're 9 years old, your brain is still forming, but this trauma kind of, I don't know if it stops that process. I don't know if it just makes it so that I don't know how to describe it other than that it changes your mind, your brain. I think that if this hadn't happened to me, I think I would be a normal person. And I don't know what normal means, but I don't think I would deal with the suicidal ideologies and things like that so often. So for me, and I didn't even know why I was depressed. I just knew at 14 I was depressed. My mom pulled me out of school. I was homeschooled. The teachers from school would come to my house. And I just remember feeling angry most of the time. And if not angry, very, 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 I mean, sad in the depths of depression when everybody else is excited. It's high school, you know, everyone's changing classes, they're meeting each other. And for me, it was just a horrible time. And and I don't know if we need to go this far now, but you made a point. Can I talk about Delina's our moderator, guys? She's the Whoopi. She's Whoopi and Lonnie off of the real. Do you mind if I talk about the mental illness in the Black community, or should we wait? Because you touched on it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so for me, my mom, I was given medicine when I left the hospital, and they told me I was going to go to therapy. Listen, I probably went to like 2 weeks of therapy, and I was like, this is not fun. I don't like this. My mom was trying to push me to go, but I was like, no, I'm not going. I'm crazy. Means I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. Nothing's wrong with me. And again, guys, a lot of us Black people, and I'm just going, again, we don't sugarcoat, think that church alone helps. Go to church, lay yourself on the altar, pray, read the Bible, and you'll be okay. I'm talking about a mental illness that started with depression. And then at the age of 19, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which literally, again, now that I've learned, the silly, excitable Rasha, that's me. That's really me. But then the depression part, that is all the things that happen at that age. So they kind of combine, and you get this person who's either overly depressed, in the bed, crying, wallowing, not eating, not taking a shower. And you get this other person who's overly excited, jumping around. And I feel like after I'm depressed, okay, now I'm back to normal. Here, time to party and time to be all excited. So I think that a lot of us feel like that's the crazy. We can't call uncle crazy. We can't call this person crazy. Black people are scared of mental illness. I think that we're scared of the person that's mentally ill. So therefore we just push them away, or we call them the crazy person over there. We don't mess with them, or they drink or do drugs to pacify that. So it looks like, oh, she's just a drug addict. She's just a drunk. Luckily for me, I didn't turn that way, but I definitely turned to a person who needed love so much. In the visual series, if you guys will look back, when the script on the screen was like, she loves and being in love. I just was looking for something, and love was the way that I dealt with it. Being in relationships, always having to be in a relationship. But again, back to the mental illness, the depression was the first sign. And I think it came directly from that feeling. You guys, I live with shame. I live with blame myself for what happened. I was confused. I was always just angry or sad. And to be honest, when I look at that story now, I'm like, thank God. Just imagine if I had died that day. I'm taking a whole bottle of aspirin. Now, what it did was messed up my liver. But what if I would die? I would have never known life. I would have never known the joy of life, being a wife, having children, going to school, these moments that we're in right now, traveling. I would have been gone, and my mom would have been heartbroken. I'm my mom's only child. How would my family have managed with me being dead from suicide? So I think about that. And to be honest, the story doesn't make me sad. It just makes me like, wow, that's where I was. Thank God that I'm here right now. Thank God that I'm not in that moment. And just thank God for me realizing that I don't have to go back and forth into that moment. I'm not a child anymore. I'm not being molested. I have strength. If I get depressed now, we'll talk about that later, but you guys, there are so many people on my friends list that deal with anxiety and depression and even bipolar. I will tell you some steps that will save your life.
So, Angel, do you have anything? I know you got kicked off for a second. Do you have anything that you want to add? I mean, you know the story, so you don't have to rehash it for you.
I know the story. And what's really great, well, I don't want to use the word crazy, but I'm going to use the word crazy here. Is that upon meeting Rasha for the first time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we were in our early 20s. Like I was probably maybe 21.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was so I was about 21. So I came into her life right at that time where she was going through those stages. And the only thing I can always remember was that, she was always a fun one. We would always go out. We would always have a really good time. And then she would disappear on us,
Absolutely.
and it was like, of course you're thinking, I hope everything's okay. Like, and then like she'd be gone for a while, but then she'd come back, and then it's like she would pick up right where we never left off. And at the time, I've had certain bouts of depression, but I didn't know anything about the other diseases such as schizophrenia or bipolar disorder or any of those disorders. So when those would happen, I mean, I would think something was wrong, but I didn't know, and that also goes to say how, we only let people in to a certain extent, because we don't want that judgment. In our community, having a mental illness is seen as a mental weakness, and that frame of thinking has to change, because we have people out here who are undiagnosed, who are sitting in our prisons. They're the homeless on the street.
Yes.
They're the person in the family that everybody avoids because they just crazy and they're not of God, or they don't believe in Jesus, but that's not the case. And I really got a real handful that when I started actually working with mentally ill or people with serious mental illness, I got to see a whole other side of that, which makes me, I fight really, really hard for those who have a mental illness. I try to encourage people, go get help. It doesn't mean that you're crazy, but I mean, who doesn't want somebody to talk to that doesn't judge them? Who doesn't? Why wouldn't you? I mean, if there's something on your mind and you want to talk about, but if you go talk to Mama, she gonna tell Susie, and then Susie gonna tell cousin Joe, and then Joe gonna tell cousin Iffy, and then by the time we get back to you, the story has been twisted around 3,000 times when it's not even the case.
Say it.
But when you talk to a therapist, that therapist is bound by law that the only way that they are going to be able to sell anything is if you pose a danger to yourself or a danger to somebody else.
Right.
That's it. And I think there's something freeing in that. So I'm with Delina. If at any point, no matter what you're going through, whatever it is you're going through, if you're having a hard time trying to figure it out and you're having a hard time moving forward, find someone to talk to. A licensed therapist is in your vicinity, I promise. And if you're a person of color and you prefer a person of color, seek out professional therapists who are of color. They're scattered in there somewhere. They may be few and far between, but they are there.
Yes.
There's a lot of resources. I mean, look for your local community centers, dial 211. They'll be able to help you with that. But don't stay in a perpetual state of hurt.
Yeah.
Don't stay there. There is a way to get help, because, I mean, suicide is a very permanent thing to a temporary problem.
Yes.
It's very permanent. There's no coming back from that. And I mean, as you can see it with the whole bullying and things like that, with the kids are getting younger and younger, and that makes me very sad that babies don't have any other way out, So I would just encourage everyone, anybody, you need help, go get it. It's out there for you to get. Well, I don't know if I'm on a tangent, but I'm passionate about that.
You're good. No, when I first met Rasha, I hear some feedback. I don't know why. Is it me?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is that better?
I don't hear it. Oh, where'd Lena go? Hi, Rasha.
Hi, where's Selena? Okay, let's give it a minute for Delina to come back. But guys, we're gonna be professional. I want to give you some stats about mental illness. Delina will come back. She knows what she's doing. So August 2007, that's the latest stats I can find from the Center of Disease Control. And like Angel said, they're saying that kids under 13 are the newest group that is committing suicide attempts and suicides at a high rate due to bullying. They say one child out of 13 dies of suicide every 5 days. So we have 13 kids attempting suicide, one dying out of every 13. So again, the attempts, and believe me, they're cries for help. They absolutely are cries for help. Please help me. Please help me. This is what's going on. There she is. Don't worry. We kept it professional, kept moving.
I hear you. I just couldn't see you. Go ahead.
And Delina will come in. Okay, good. And then the teens between 15 and 19, the rates among girls are climbing. Again, they say it's due to bullying, it's due to girls being depressed, it's due to what I want to say, their self image, looking at the Kim Kardashians, looking at the beautiful women. I just want to think of some black women too. The Gabrielle Unions, the Beyoncés, and all I was like, wow, really? But yeah, there's a lot of pressure on these girls to look beautiful, to be perfect. The numbers are showing us that it further proving that teens are an increasingly vulnerable group when it comes to mental health. It shows that teen depression rates are on the rise, and yet the stigma or fear of asking for help prevents people from asking, for getting the attention they need. The teens from telling their moms, and then their parents from doing something about it. And of course, the increase in African American suicides. It used to be a thing. I remember people saying, "Black folks, we don't kill ourselves. We don't kill ourselves, honey, because we know our worth." Well, the research shows that Black youth experience disproportionate exposure to violence or trauma stressors, and they're less likely, again, to receive services for depression, suicidal ideation, and other mental health problems. So now we talk about the dysfunction and traumas in our homes causing it to happen, and then the violence that we see, be it in our homes or anywhere else. So what they say is there needs to be more encouragement for people to seek medical care, looking for uncharacteristic changes in behavior of your teenagers, guys, and even smaller children. Fluctuations in academic performance and withdrawal are all signs something bigger is happening. And then the last couple stats, they talk about the rate of attempted suicides to completed suicides, 100 to 1, and much higher again among teen girls. So again, people that are attempting suicide, again, that's a cry for help. It's a cry for help. I mean, think about it. I don't want to say, I think that I was crying out for help as well. I don't know if I knew if the pills would hurt me or not. I knew drinking the fingernail polish would do nothing but make me sick. But I think I was crying for help because I needed to tell my mom what was happening. And then the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention says that suicides have increased 24% over the last 15 years. It's the 10th leading cause of death in the U.S. There are 123 suicides a day. That's what I was like. 123 suicides, 123 families, 123 people affected. Think about all the families of the 123 people affected by suicide. So again, when it comes to suicide and attempts, there are rates of differences between demographic, such as age, gender, ethnicity, and race, but suicide occurs in all demographic groups. So Delina she was going to go ahead and give her thoughts on what I said, what Angel said, and everything from that part of the book.
Right. Before I was so rudely
right. We can't be having the moderator cannot be disrupted, okay?
Oh my goodness, that was crazy. But I'll piggyback off of what Angel was saying. When I first met Rasha, we were in high school, and she was just as bubbly as me. No, she was more bubbly than me, and I'm pretty daggone bubbly. Like,
yes,
I really didn't think that nobody could be more extra than me, and she exceeded that. So then we just literally clicked because it was like, and we would talk on the phone, we would go hang out, we would do with the babies, we would do this and do this and do this, and that's how it was. And then she disappeared, and I'd be like, anybody heard from her? And then she pop up and be like, and I'm like, oh, hi. And then we pick right back up where we left off.
Right.
And that was, people had told me, they were like, girl, don't be friends with her. She's crazy, whatever.
She's crazy.
Like, she's fine. And I was a teenager. I didn't know. And I'm going through my own stuff. So I ain't got time to analyze nobody else because I'm going through my own stuff. And she was so much like me. We were doing music. We were dating cousins. Our kids were cousins, so it was just like, that's family. So to me, a crazy person is the person who stands behind the bush and is like, stalker status.
Right.
Like,
well,
okay, she's crazy because she's bubbly. Is that what you're talking about? Mm-hmm. And she would do this missing in action type thing. Like, it would be so quick. Like, when I get off the phone with her and then the next 5 minutes, I can't get a hold of her for a month. And I'm like, what happened? But without knowing anything about, you think you know about mental illness, or you think because the crazy uncle, the crazy aunt people talk about.
Right.
I really didn't know that much about it. I just knew she would appear and disappear. And when she disappeared, I missed my friend, but I didn't know what that meant. And so even the times that she was attempting suicide, I didn't know that that's what was going on. I didn't even know it until we wrote the book. And I'm like, girl, what? How come you didn't call me? You called me about everything else. How come you didn't call me and tell me you were sad? So that just speaks on, you never really know what someone else is going through. And I just said earlier, we wear a mask. She thought I was happy. I wasn't. And I have been, and what's crazy, not crazy. I don't have the word to describe. How she says she looks up to me because I'm so strong and I can do this, that, and the other after all that I've been through. And how can you be okay after your dad did something like this? And I'm like, I've been low. You got to read the whole book to see how low it gets. I've been very, 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 very low. And don't hear this wrong, because it's not judgment. This is just the only way that I can explain it.
Right.
I have never been so low that I wanted to hurt or harm myself or take my own life. That's not a judgment. So don't hear that wrong. That's just saying, as low as I have been, I can't even imagine. Like, I can't even pretend like I can know what that is like to be that low that that's what I want to do to myself. Now, I might go off and kill somebody else.
Yeah.
But I can't see myself hurting myself. And that's not, like I said, it's not a judgment. It's not me putting my pain above hers or anything like that. I'm like, right. That is some hurtful, that's some pain. And like how I described my last week, how I described the indescribable fear that I had when my father told me to keep that secret and I didn't know what was going on. There was I couldn't describe it. That is an indescribable pain.
Right.
For you to feel that low, like, I don't have any words. Like, I'm still baffled by it. Like, and just like you are with my story, like, I don't.
With yours, exactly. And that's why you guys have to read the whole book, like you said, all stories, because you will understand, like, again, angel situation. I didn't live with my mom and dad together. I couldn't imagine being supposed to keep that secret about my dad hitting my mom, beating on my mom. And how are you living like that? And then you're the oldest, you have all this responsibility. And then Delina, like I said, I could not imagine at all. I just could not. So we all have things happen and we're just like, wow, how the heck did you get through that?
Right. Yeah.
All different issues. Yeah. All different issues.
And no reaction is wrong.
Right.
Your reaction is your reaction. Mm-hmm. Some people's reaction is not to react because they're so numb. I've been numb. I've been so numb that I couldn't react to certain things that were going on. Mm-hmm. Had to work out of the numbness, but I can't imagine. And that's why it's and what is even more painful as a parent, as an adult, as someone who, I can't say I've studied extensively, but because I've been to therapy and I know, a little bit on that other side.
Right.
To feel that pain as a child, no child should feel that way. And I don't want to get slack because I do know of some instances where children have harmed themselves.
Yeah.
And that's not to blame the parent, but no child, like, children should be children.
Right. Yeah.
They shouldn't be afraid to go to school. They shouldn't be afraid to be bullied. They shouldn't be hurt by their parents, their babies. Like, children should be children, want to play outside. Well, now they don't want to play outside. They want to play on video games and watch YouTube. But whatever it is, they should be children. You don't have to worry about bills. You don't have to worry your schoolwork and your chores.
Right.
And you playing with your friends and having a good time. That's the only thing you need to worry about. Like, everything else should be fun because you're going to be an adult for the rest of your life and have to deal with adult stuff.
And that's what I think we were. Hurts. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, that's what I think we all have in common.
Like that.
We didn't have it we didn't have that childhood. Maybe we had it later. I know, but really not really, because we didn't have a childhood and then we became moms young. So as soon as we get to this age where 14, 15, 16, now we're pregnant. So we're really in the adult position. How is Angel enjoying her childhood when she's keeping secrets about her dad, trying to look after her mom and her brother? How is Delina being a child with this undescribable thing happening to her at the hands of her father, who's supposed to be a protector? How am I going through guilt and shame because I realize now it was guilt and shame at a young age. Who has guilt and shame at 9 years old? because it was a natural
Right.
feeling. It was a natural feeling for me to feel guilty and to feel shame. And I even felt like that up until, 35 years old.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people on my page. I hope you guys watch this later who have people who have attempted suicide and have actually committed suicide. For anyone, please, 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 with the depression, please, like Delina said, therapy. You may need to see you may need to see a psychiatrist, psychologist. You may need medication. However, there are some things you can do yourself before that. You guys, exercise is amazing. I'm telling y'all, I hate the gym. When I say I hate working out, I like to eat and that's it. But the endorphins that come within your body with the exercise, after you get over the hump of how horrible it is, you start to feel better. You start to feel better. And then yoga. People, I told you, I used to laugh at people for doing yoga. Who does that? Angel, go ahead. Oh, you making fun of me.
Yeah.
Yoga.
It is, let me tell you, when I was able to do yoga, that was like probably the best feeling I ever had with anything. And because it does so much to center you. It's more than just these stretches and poses. It's learning to pay attention to the way you breathe. It's learning to pay attention to how things feel on your skin and becoming more aware.
Absolutely.
So yes, you're getting a nice little workout from it. Yes, you're doing that, but it's so centering.
It is.
And it's so it is very therapeutic. Like,
yes.
I mean, I did it. I had a homeboy at work, and we saw it come up. He was like, "Hey, why don't we try this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, we can do it." And after the first time, I was hooked.
Yes.
To the point where there was a person in the class that running joke that at the end of every session, like, doing a breathe down time, he would be sleep. There was a guy that would be snoring.
Me too.
Out.
Me too.
And listen, the calm down part is only about 5 minutes.
Very short. Very short.
Would be out, right?
Yes.
Snoring.
Absolutely. I used to make fun of people. When I tell y'all, I was like, oh, that's for girls that carry little puppies and they go to Starbucks every day. Who does that? I'm black. How am I going to do yoga? Now, what kind of ignorance is that? Okay. And then, guys, breathing. I'm telling y'all, you would never think. Yes. Delina has always said it. My husband always says it. Rasha, breathe, 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 whatever. What y'all talking about? I'm telling y'all, in through your nose, out through your mouth, or in through your nose, out through your nose, however you need. When I tell you, sometimes a breath can just, okay, what can I do about the situation? Nothing. Let me just breathe and slow down. And I need to slow down. And let me tell you what else. Yoga, exercise, all that works for when you're depressed or manic. So if you deal with, it does the same thing for both. Depressed, it makes you move your body. Manic, you slow down. So exercise helps. Eating the right foods, getting in a support group. When I got in a support group, I'm like Angel said, no one's judging me. No one's telling me I'm crazy. We've all been through the same thing. I'm sure that's something Delina did when you started therapy after you were molested by your dad. A support group with other people that had gone through the same thing. So you didn't think you were alone. You know what I mean? You like, but it's sad because all these people are dealing with some of the same things. But I'm telling you guys, this stuff works. This ain't what I made up. This is what I know. I'm telling y'all, there are things that you can do to help with depression, with bipolar, even schizophrenia, which is a very to me, it's a confusing thing to have. It's very, very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Debilitating.
Confusing is it's pretty.
It's to me, I'm terrified when I see people like that. I'm terrified.
Yeah, you can't.
There's no
because
method
when
to
someone's
right,
and they can't. It's like they have their own thought process.
Yes,
but they're hearing other voices coming from other places.
Yes,
saying different things to them, and they're seeing things that aren't really there.
Yes.
So there is, I believe here in Indy, I might be wrong, but I know they used to do this. There was like a simulator thing where you would take, and it would show you some of the effects of how schizophrenia works. I actually did one of those, and I swear it opened my eyes up to their world. It really opened my eyes up to the world for them, because they're having a hard time bridging reality. They don't know what's real.
Right.
You know, and you know, until they get on the medication levels that they need to be on.
Mm-hmm.
Because make no mistake, if someone has schizophrenia, they definitely need to be
You
medicated
have
so
to
they can
take
make those
medicine. Say that again, you
distinctions.
guys. Schizophrenia, you have to have medicine. You have to. There is no, I'm sorry, there is no other way with that.
Yeah, that one
Paranoid,
because you
schizophrenia,
can't.
all of that.
Oh, and that's a totally schizophrenia is one thing. Paranoid
Paranoid,
schizophrenia is
a whole nother
something
thing.
is even on a higher level. But the one thing that people don't really understand about those mental illnesses is that people are really afraid of people with schizophrenia and things like that. When those are not the people you should be afraid of with people with mental illness,
That's
because
true.
9 times out of 10, a person that's paranoid, schizophrenic, that person is probably one of the people who is the most of a target to be hurt. And I think there are studies done on that too. The ones you might want to kind of look at are people who have like borderline personality disorders or narcissistic disorders. Like those are the people who will hurt, who will manipulate. You know, they don't care about who they hurt. Now that's a whole other level of it. Of those. And the only reason why I kind of have a little bit of background is because I actually worked with people with these disorders, and I could see how the disorder affects them and how it works when they're medicated and how completely off it goes when they're not. So it's just, but getting back to what you were saying, like exercising, eating healthier, diet helps, having those breathing exercises, you know, doing stretches, slowing all the way down, you know, or moving, like those things really do help. Now, I didn't notice how that really does help.
Yes. And listen, there's a, you guys, there's a, no, go ahead. I thought Delina was going to say something. You guys, there is a lady, her name is, and Angel, you probably would love this. It's YouTube. Yoga with Adrienne. You can do it at home. When I tell you, she has about 125 videos, and you can do yoga for headaches, yoga for if you need to slow down, yoga for depression, yoga, and you can do that in your home. I have a whole empty room, and I just put my yoga mat in there and do it at home. You don't have to go to a class. If you don't have the money, you don't have to pay for a class, anything like that, you know, and you can do that on your own. Some of these things are things that you can do without spending money, that you can just do at home to help you. Yeah. Oh, the other thing, I wrote something down. Your EAP, when Delina said, even go to one section. You guys, your EAP department at your jobs usually will pay for. Mine will pay for 10. My husband's will pay for 5. Most of the time, they will pay for, if you have an EAP department, they'll pay for some amount of therapy for you to go to. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. If you want another therapist, you can do it. But that's something that you have as a benefit of working for that company. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if anyone has comments who's watching, please comment so that we can address your comments. But I think this was good. I think this is a good conversation, one that needed to be had.
Yes.
And like I said before, especially in the Black community, we say that we lost Angel.
Dang. That's okay, y'all. We're still professional. We're going to go on.
Right.
Angel will come back.
They say we don't need therapy. Black people don't do yoga. Black people don't do this. Who made that up?
Yes. Yes.
Who said that lie? Black people do that. We can do everything else everybody else does. Right. If it's good enough for them, how come we can't do it? Do Black people go to work? Do Black people have babies? Then go get you some therapy. Like, I don't understand where that philosophy came from. That's crazy to me. But I think that was a very good talk. Stressed so much that in order to heal, you have to reveal. That's why the book is named Revealing and Healing. Not revealing and healing, because it's a continual process. And the more we work on ourselves, the more we heal. So it's not necessarily easy, but it is most definitely necessary.
Yes. And
that's what anything, here comes Angel again. That's what we are, that we point through. You absolutely have to reveal that in order to heal it, whether you reveal it to your loved one, a therapist, a counselor, teacher, professional, writing it in a book, telling it to God, like, let it out. Okay, you just gotta
Yeah.
let it out.
Mhm.
Let's see if there's any extra comments. Maya says, not all companies offer that, but if you have health coverage, your health coverage should help with that cost too. Yes.
Right. True.
Not all companies do,
Ab-
but there also
Right.
are some nonprofits and community organizations that have different programs on hand for you to be able
Right.
to use that are either low cost or no cost.
Yes.
So you might just have to get out there, go to the library. If you don't have the internet,
Yep.
go to the
And look at
library
churches.
and
Look at churches. I used to go to one
Yeah.
at Holy
211.
Angels. 211. Yep.
211.
Mhm.
okay. Well, let's see.
You guys are
Shari.
quiet today. Don't be
Says, I love
scared.
transparency
Don't
and
be scared of
realness.
mental
Love the
illness.
book. Read it 4 times. Thank you. That's
Thank
my
you.
girl. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We thank you guys for joining us every week, and we hope that you're getting something out of it and not just watching it to be watching it. I hope that you are, there's a goal in mind.
Mhm.
And this isn't the only story to tell, but this is just what we're telling right now.
Right.
So I think that was a good conversation, great conversation. Thank you guys for joining us. I guess we'll wrap it up here.
Okay.
We've been highlighting different people who have helped every week.
Yeah.
And so this week, I'm really excited about who we are highlighting. Mr. Brandon Penniman. He goes to my church, Golden Memorial United Methodist Church in Douglasville, Georgia. Rasha, you keep moving and getting out of the frame.
Why do I move so much for no? What am I doing? Dancing? Okay, go ahead.
Are you sitting? Are you running? You're walking? I don't know what you're doing. But Brandon Penniman, let me tell you, I keep some awesome people around me. I don't deal with no fooleries around me. Everybody around me is awesome, like-minded people. I'm definitely not the smartest or the most talented in my group because that's some fraganackle.
Yeah.
That means I'm not moving. But Brandon Penniman, he has a nonprofit organization called Fit for the Future. And within that, he has a club where he mentors young men called the Men's Club. And when I say young men, I'm talking elementary school young men. And he's been doing this for a few years now, and I've just been watching him and watching his program and his organization and everything that they do. And it is, when you see the video, you're going to be like, oh, this is awesome. And this is a mini snippet of the video. And I'll share, he has another one on his page, and I'll go ahead and share that one a little bit later too. Because it was too much for me to try to fit into what we were trying to do for today.
Yeah.
But his Men's Club program is a mentoring program from young boys. It teaches them key principles to manhood. Oh, I'm blocking my camera. Sorry. To manhood, culture, and community. And he also does a lot in the community. He feeds the hungry. He clothes them. And I'm not talking about just every once in a while or just
Christmas
for
and Thanksgiving. Yes.
They actually do it on Thanksgiving and Christmas and other days. But I'm saying it's not, oh, we're going to do it the day before, the day after, because we're not Hosea feed the hungry.
Right.
And they will physically, if you can't make it to where they are, they will go out and bring you food.
Wow.
So he does a lot. I mean, it's just amazing because I knew him when he was still growing up in school, and he was one of them little rockhead boys running around church and getting in all kinds of trouble and stuff. And just to see how he has grown and developed, and now he's giving back to the community and giving back to our young Black men, which is so needed.
Yes.
So
yes.
he helped us also while we were doing the visual series. He did a great job. Thank you, Brandon. Oh, he's one of our youth pastors as well.
Oh, wow.
And he also has a summer fitness program that he does as well too. So he does a whole lot.
Busy.
Lot.
Yeah.
And he's a young Black man with goals in mind, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
So
and we
Brandon,
don't hear
keep doing
about
what
that
you're doing.
anymore. We don't hear that on the news. We don't
No,
see that.
you don't.
We don't hear it on the radio.
You don't. Not at all.
Right.
So Brandon, keep doing what you're doing. God is going to bless you and enlarge your territory. We've talked about it before. I just can't wait to see. I just want to be like, yeah, I know him. Yeah. I just can't wait to see how it's going to go down. So I will post that video as soon as we're done, because still on this wonderful platform that we are trying to use, it's still not going to give you the sound, and I want you to be able to hear it. Mm-hmm. So thank you guys for joining us. Remember to visit, and you can also make a donation to his organization as well. The information to be on the link. You can still go visit us at lionessvisions.net.
Mhm.
If you've missed any of our live streams, any of our visual series, if you want a copy of the book or the ebook, just go there and it will point you in the right direction. And we will see y'all again next week.
Bye.
Wait a minute,
y'all.
somebody's commenting.
Oh, somebody's coming. Good
Thank
job.
you, Courtney. Yes, it is awesome. So thank you guys for joining us again. Have an awesome night. Try to catch up on this hour that
Bye, y'all.
stole from us. What the devil stole from us that hour. I'm
Yes,
still trying to
bring
get my life in
forward.
order. So
Me too.
thank you all. Peace, love, and light.
Bye, y'all.